Noted, Gabriel. The different logical operators. Can you give one logical operators na na-discuss natin? Just give me one. Ma'am, unstable connection ko. Ako din actually, pag mamaya, pag na-disconnect ako, huwag kayong aalis sa meeting link, basta babalik ako. Kasi kanina din pa wala-walang internet namin. Okay. Can you give one logical operator na nakatapos natin last meeting? Yes, Gian.
Ano pa yun, ma'am, yung conjunction?
Correct. It's the conjunction. Using the conjunction, what is the connective used in conjunction? Yes, Victor, Manuel.
Ma'am, pas po muna ako, ma'am.
Okay. So, ano yung connective na ginagamit kapag ang operator ay conjunction? Yes, Ram.
And po, ma'am.
Correct. It's and. So, aside from the logical operator na and, what else? What other logical operator ang natapos natin? Yes, Asher.
Or po.
Okay, it's the or the disjunction. Aside from conjunction, disjunction, what else? Sino pa yung nakakatanda? On the other hand, yes, Victor Manuel, babawi.
Po yung tanong, ma'am, di ko po kasi narinig, ma'am.
Maliban sa conjunction and disjunction na logical operator, ano pa yung natapos natin last time na operator?
Ano, ma'am, yung exclusive or po ba, ma'am?
Okay, the exclusive or. And the last one is the
Negation, ma'am.
It's the negation. Okay, so recap muna tayo kasi ito ay gagamitin natin dito sa implication, biconditional, tapos meron kayong short na sit work later on, 6 items. Okay, so sa conjunction operator, the connective is and. The statement or the conjunction of P and Q is only true if the P and Q are both true. So that is the definition of conjunction. In disjunction, the statement P or Q is only false if both the statement P and Q are both false. Otherwise, it is true. Next is the exclusive or. Sa exclusive or naman, magiging true lang ang isang proposition if exactly one of them is true. Otherwise, it's false. But in negation, the negation is the opposite of the original statement. So in negation, we use the word not. So if the proposition is true, therefore its negation is false. Otherwise, or vice versa. If it's false naman ang original na proposition, then its negation is true. So let us now proceed to the fifth logical operator, which is the implication. Let P and Q be the statements. So let P is a proposition and let Q be the proposition. The statement, if P then Q, is called an implication or conditional statement. So that is an example of conditional statement. We make use of if P then Q. So say for example, the statement, if a student is diligent, then he will succeed in life. Since gumamit ng if P then Q, then that is conditional. A conditional statement is denoted by P, then yung symbol na may arrow going to the right, that is implies. So ang basa dyan ay if P implies Q or if P then Q. The statement P is the hypothesis, and another term for hypothesis is the premise, and Q is the conclusion. So say for example, yung minention ko kanina na statement na if a student is diligent, then he will succeed in life. So the statement after ng word na if, that is the P statement or the hypothesis, and the statement after ng word na then, that is the conclusion. So let us try this one. Given this conditional statement, type ko dito, if 2 is even, then 3 is prime. What is the hypothesis and what is the conclusion? Nasa chat box po. If the conditional statement, if 2 is even, then 3 is prime. What is the hypothesis and what is the conclusion? Anybody? Base your answer from the definition. Sabi sa definition, it is denoted by P implies Q, where P is the hypothesis and Q is the conclusion. Another hand, the P statement is the statement after ng word na if. And the Q na statement is the statement after ng word na Q na then. It's not always the case na laging if tsaka then ang ginagamit. Diba sa English, another term for then na nagde-denote na parang tayo ay nagko-conclude, we may also use the word therefore. Diba? Yung mga word na yun na kung saan pang conclusion na. Or hence, mga ganon. Pwede rin namang say for example sa if yung mga whenever. Mga ganon po. Okay, so let us go back to the example. If 2 is even, then 3 is prime. What is the hypothesis and what is the conclusion? Yes, Matt.
2 is hypothesis and 3 is conclusion po.
2 is a hypothesis and 3 is the conclusion. Di ba sabi natin kanina, tama naman Matt, merong medyo kulang lang. Di ba sabi natin kanina, let P be the proposition.
Ay,
and
opo,
let
sorry
Q
po.
be the
Kulang nga po.
proposition. Okay. Would you like to rephrase your answer?
2 is even. Tama po ba?
Tama.
And then 3 is prime po.
Correct. So, out of that conditional statement, makakakuha tayo ng hypothesis na 2 is even, tapos yung conclusion naman ay 3 is prime. Na, how about this one? What if pag sinabing ganito? She will succeed. If she will succeed if she obeyed. Right? Tignan natin na. That is a conditional statement. Pero walang then. Right? So it's not always the case na merong then. Identify the hypothesis and the conclusion. Yes, Mike.
Ma'am, yung hypothesis po is she obeyed, tapos conclusion po, she will succeed.
Okay, that is correct. Next. Last one. Whenever I eat rice, I gain 2 pounds. Walang if, walang then. But that is an example of conditional statement. What is the hypothesis? What is the conclusion? I repeat, whenever I eat rice, I gain 2 pounds. Jess, Jan, Owen.
Ma'am, ako po.
Owen.
Ay, sorry ma'am.
Okay, na? So that is the hypothesis. Yung whenever I eat rice, then the conclusion is I gain 2 pounds. So I hope that's clear. So ang tawag dyan ay implication. Another term for implication is conditional statement. P is the hypothesis. Another term for hypothesis is premise. Na? So kung walang premise, hanapin niyo yung word na hypothesis. Hypothesis or premise. Conclusion naman, ang ibang tawag dyan sa ibang book ay antecedent. Okay. So this is the truth value or the truth table of the conditional statement or implication. So given the P na proposition and the Q na proposition, let's take a look at the truth value ng P implies Q. First column, whenever the proposition P is true, and if the proposition Q is true, pareho silang true. Meaning to say, ang iyong conditional statement is also true. If the proposition P is true, but the conclusion is false, then the conditional statement is also false. If the proposition P is false and the Q proposition is true, then P implies Q is also true. And whenever the proposition P is false and the proposition Q is false, therefore the conclusion is also true, or the P implies Q is true. As you can see, sa P implies Q or conditional statement, nagiging false lang siya kung ang hypothesis or the P is true at kung ang conclusion ay false. Tignan ang table ha. So nagiging false lang siya kung ang hypothesis ay true at ang conclusion ay false. Okay, let us go back to my example earlier. Type ko dito. Ang sabi ko kanina, if 2 is even, then 3 is prime. Find the truth value of the conditional statement that if 2 is even, then 3 is prime, and explain. What is the truth value of the conditional statement that if 2 is even, then 3 is prime, and explain. Yes. Ken.
Ano, ma'am? Wait lang, ma'am. Ma'am. True. True po, ma'am.
Okay, can you explain, Ken, why did you come up with your answer na true?
Ma'am, kasi ma'am yung, ma'am, yung 2 ma'am is even po. And then yung 3 is also a prime number, ma'am. So, pareha silang true, ma'am.
Correct.
Yung niya, ma'am, is true din po.
Thank you, Ken. That is correct. Since 2 is even, that is true. So the hypothesis is true. And 3 is also a prime, that is also true na proposition. So since both the hypothesis and the conclusion are true, based from the table of the implication, therefore, yung conditional statement mo is also true. Another. If a whale, type ko dito. If, yes, apo. If true ang statement, tapos true din ang conclusion, true yon. Pero kung ang hypothesis mo, Owen, ay true, pero ang conclusion mo ay false, ibig sabihin yung conditional statement mo ay false. Okay. As, wait lang type ko dito. If a whale is a mammal, then dogs can fly. If a whale is a mammal, then dogs can fly. What is the truth value of the conditional statement? Yes. Siron.
Ma'am, false po.
Explain. Explain, Siron?
Kasi po ma'am, true po yung hypothesis po na yung whale po ay mammal. Pero po false po yung conclusion na dogs can fly.
Correct. So since the hypothesis is true, but the conclusion is false, it also follows that the conditional statement is false. Okay, next. For example, let P be the proposition that today is Sunday, and let Q be the proposition that I will wash the car. So that is the given propositions, right? So can you form a conditional statement out of these two given propositions? Form, kanina, baliktad. Binigay ko yung P, binigay ko yung statement, the conditional statement, tapos kinuha natin yung hypothesis and the conclusion. This time, ibibigay ko yung P and yung Q, then you're going to form a conditional statement out of that given. Okay? Using the if, then form. Yes, Alan?
Try lang pa, ma'am. If today is Sunday, then I will wash the car.
Okay, so that is correct. P implies Q by definition. It says, if today is Sunday, then I will wash the car. Okay. And implication, pwede mong i-reverse ang mga statement mo. So, pag ni-reverse mo yan, ang tawag sa kanya ay converse. So, the converse of this implication is mababaliktad. So, the hypothesis will now become the conclusion, and the conclusion will now become the hypothesis. So, in symbol, that is if Q, then P. Form a converse of that conditional statement. Form a converse of that conditional statement. Ang sagot kanina ni Alan ay, if today is Sunday, then I will wash the car. That is the original conditional proposition or statement. Original yon. So, gagawin natin, hanapin natin yung converse niya. Pag sinabing converse, magpapalit sila ng pwesto. The hypothesis ay magiging conclusion, yung conclusion ay magiging hypothesis. So, in symbols, if Q, then P. Just follow the notation. If Q, then P. Yes, Jan Howell?
Ma'am, narinig
Yes.
po.
Yes. Sinara mo na yung mic mo. In-off mo yung mic.
Sorry, ma'am. Sasagdap. Wala po pala. Ano po, ma'am? Di ba po, ma'am, kala po kasi next question, ma'am, same question po pala. Di ba po, ma'am, babalik ta rin po.
Correct. Ibabalik ta rin lang.
So, bali yung P ko po is gagawin ko pong Q.
Opo.
So, bali ano po, ma'am? If I will wash the car, then today is Sunday.
Correct. If I will wash the car, then today is Sunday. That is the converse, no? Yung kabaliktaran niya. Okay. A conditional statement can also be negated. So, pwede na din natin siyang i-negate. Ang tawag doon ay inverse. So, pag sinabi natin inverse of this implication, in-negate mo yung original na statement. Di ba? Original na statement kanina ay if P, then Q. So, the inverse of that is if not P, aside from tilde, pwedeng kanyan ang symbol ng not. Yung tilde na paalon o kaya ganyan na parang nakaside na L, not ang basa dyan. So, pag ninegate mo yung conditional na statement, magiging if not P, then not Q. What do you think is the inverse of that conditional statement? If not P, then not Q. Who wants to try? Another hand? Ang original na statement ay if today is Sunday, then I will wash the car. That is the original conditional statement na sinagot ni Alan kanina. From that, makakabuo tayo ng tatlong statement. The converse, the inverse, and the contrapositive. Sabi ni Howell kanina, the converse is the if I will wash the car, then if I wash the car, then today is Sunday. That's the converse. The inverse is the negation of the original statement. So if not P, then not Q. Then what is the statement? Yes, Asher. Okay, Victor. Wait lang, Asher.
Sige po.
Question before.
Ulit ng converse pa inverse kasi bigla po mayroon po.
Okay. Balik ko doon sa previous slide. Sa original statement, yung if P then Q, that is the original conditional statement. Now, yung converse, by definition, yung hypothesis mo magiging conclusion, yung conclusion mo magiging hypothesis. So, ibig sabihin, magiging if Q, then P. Baliktad lang po, binaliktad. So, that's the converse. So, from the original conditional statement na if today is Sunday, then I will wash the car, magiging siyang if I wash the car, then today is Sunday. Pinagbaliktad lang po yung pwesto nila. Sa inverse naman, negation siya. Ibig sabihin, di ba, ng negation by definition, iko-contradict mo yung original. So, yung positive magiging negative. So, ang notation niya, if P then Q, yung negation niya ay magiging if not P, then not Q. Merong negation. Okay na, Victor? Okay. Okay. Volunteer.
Ako, ma'am.
Yes, Asher, go ahead.
Ano po? If today is not Sunday, then I will not wash the car.
Very good. If today is not Sunday, then I will not wash the car. See, meron siyang negation. The last one is the contrapositive. The contrapositive is kabaliktaran naman ng inverse. So, sa inverse, yung contrapositive, kukuhanin mo sa sagot mo sa inverse. So, this time, yung hypothesis ng inverse, magiging conclusion. Yung conclusion ng inverse na statement, magiging hypothesis. Okay, volunteer. Or in symbol, if not Q, then not P. Yes, Charles.
If I not wash the car, then today is not Sunday.
Correct. If I do not wash the car, then today is not Sunday. So that's how you construct an inverse, contrapositive, and conditional statement. Okay, let's have this practice. Ma'am, okay, sige. Noted, Mike. Pasabi na lang, nasabi mo na. Okay, let's try this. Another example. Sabihin ninyo ang contrapositive. Walang magta-type dito maliban sa akin. Kasi para hindi matubunan. The given conditional statement, say for example, if Jesus is my Savior, then He is my Lord. That is the given conditional statement. If Jesus is my Savior, then He is my Lord. What is the converse of the statement? Anybody? Another hand? Okay, Victor Emmanuel. Converse.
Ano po yun? Hindi ko makita yung statement.
If Jesus is my Savior, then He is my Lord. That is the conditional statement.
If He is my Lord, then He is Jesus. Ay, hindi. Mali. Ano po? If Jesus is my Savior, then He is my Lord.
That is my given.
Yan po yung given. Tapos, ang gagawin ko is converse.
Correct.
If He is my Lord, then He is my Savior. Then Jesus is my Savior.
Okay, pwede naman. O pwede naman na, di ba, sino ba si He? Di ba si Jesus? Pwede mo siyang sabihin that if Jesus is
If
my
Jesus
Lord,
is my Lord, then He is my Savior. Okay.
mas much better yon na. Kasi bago tayo gumamit ng pronoun, dapat alam mo kung si sabihin that if Jesus is my Lord, then He is my Savior. That is the converse. How about the inverse? Inverse. Another, yes, Marco, inverse.
Ma'am, if Jesus is not my Savior, then He is not my Lord.
Very good. Last, contrapositive. Another hand. Another hand aside from Victor and Noel. Yes, Syra.
If Jesus is not my Lord, then
Very
He
good.
is not my
Okay,
Savior.
let us proceed. Let's do this practice exercises orally. Let P be the proposition that is square root of 5 is irrational. And let Q be the proposition that 5 is odd. Let W be the proposition that pi is an algebraic number. So yun yung given ko, no? Tatlong proposition. P, Q, and W. Form a compound statement as required. So, ano muna tayo? Recap muna tayo. Anong ibig sabihin ng compound statement or compound proposition? Sino yung nakaka-recall from last week na discussion natin? Kailan natin masasabi that a proposition is compound? Yes, Owen. Okay, correct. A compound statement or a compound proposition is a statement with two or more simple propositions connected by logical connective. So connective na and tsaka or, mga ganun, o kaya ay not. So mga ganun, ano, pag pinagsama-sama mo ang mga simple na propositions, makakabuo ka ng compound statement. Try this. Given ko yung mga logical connectives, kayo ang gagawa ng sarili yung compound statement. Number 1, if P, then Q. That is the given. If P, then Q. Who wants to try? Another hand? Okay, Jesus.
If square root of 5 is irrational, then 5 is odd po.
Very good. If a square root of 5 is irrational, then 5 is odd. That is an example of conditional statement. Next, number 2. If P, then W. If P, then W. Luis.
Then pi is an algebraic number.
Last, if not W, then not Q. If not W, then not Q. Another hand? Okay, Paulo.
If pi is not an algebraic number, then square root of 5 is not irrational.
Very good. Next. Analyze the situation. One day, Richard tweeted. Wait. May question. Ken, may question? Okay. Analyze the situation na. One day, Richard tweeted. Sabi ni Richard, if I get promoted, then I will stop posting selfies on Facebook. Yun yung tweet niya. Na? Let P be the statement that Richard gets promoted. That is the statement. Let Q be the statement that Richard stops posting selfies on Facebook. So from Richard na tweet, nakabuo tayo ng dalawang proposition na P and Q. Yung proposition na P, Richard gets promoted. Yung proposition na Q ay Richard stop posting selfies on Facebook. Your task is to determine whether the conditional P then implies Q is true given the following scenarios. Yan yung given ni Mama. Magbibigay ako ng different scenarios. Sasabihin nyo kung yung conditional statement na if P then Q ay true or false and explain. So ulitin natin. Ang given ay si Richard nag-tweet, sabi niya, if I get promoted, then I will stop posting selfies on Facebook. So yung P, si Richard na-promote, yung Q, si Richard stops posting selfies on Facebook. Scenario number 1. Richard got the promotion and promptly stopped posting selfies on Facebook. What is the truth value? True or false, and explain. Another hand, aside from Howell and Victor, analyze the situation. Anybody? Okay. Jairo.
Ma'am, pwede po pabalik saglit po question po.
Okay. Ang question, identify or determine whether the if P then Q is true. Sasabihin nyo kung true yung if P then Q, depende sa scenario.
True po, ma'am.
Okay, explain anak, bakit siya naging true?
Na-promote po si si Richard, tapos nag-stop na po siya ng pagpo-post sa Facebook po.
Okay. Diba sabi sa truth table ng conditional statement, kung ang hypothesis ay true at ang conclusion ay true, ibig sabihin ang conditional statement ay true. Since si Richard ay na-promote, totoong si Richard ay na-promote, then he promptly stopped posting selfies on Facebook, ginawa niya yung pangako niya. So true versus true, that is true. Next, scenario number 2. Richard got promoted, but then he realized that posting selfies has become a habit he cannot break easily. True or false? Gerald.
False, ma'am.
Explain.
Kasi po hindi niya po tinupad yung sinabi niya na titigil na po siya sa pagpo-post ng selfies.
Okay. The hypothesis Richard got promoted is true, right? Tapos yung hindi siya tumigil sa pagkaka-post sa Facebook, that is false. So if the premise is true and the conclusion is false, sabi sa truth table ng implication ng conditional statement ay false, kaya siya false. Okay, next, let us proceed to the last connective operator, logical operator, which is the biconditional. Sa biconditional, let P and Q be the statements. So ito ay statements. The statement P, if and only if Q, is called biconditional of P and Q. Kanina, ang implication ay if P then Q. This time, ang biconditional ay yung statement na nagsasabing P, if and only if Q. Okay, here, the biconditional P, if and only if Q is denoted by dalawang arrow on both ends. Kanina, isang arrow lang going to the right. This time, sa
Ma'am,
biconditional...
excuse po. Hindi po lumipat yung slide sa akin.
Okay. Ganon din sa iba? Gian, ganon din?
Ayan, okay na po.
Okay.
Okay na po, ma'am.
Okay. So sa biconditional, ang symbol niya ay dalawang arrow on both ends. Kung makikita niya sa slides. So sa conditional, isa lang 'di ba yung arrow niya? Sa going to the right lang. Sa biconditional, both ends merong arrow. Ang basa diyan ay P, if and only if Q. And yung word na if and only if Q, yung phrase na yon ay pinapaikli natin siya as IFF, na kung saan ang basa ay if and only if. Okay, let's have this example. The biconditional is also known as good definition. Kailan masasabi that a statement is in good definition? For a statement to be a good definition, the implication and its converse must be both true. Okay, tignan natin ha. Balik tayo sa sample ko kanina. Ang sample ko kanina dito ay if 2 is even, then 3 is prime. Sabi dito sa slides, masasabi daw ng statement ay good definition kung ang implication, ibig sabihin ng implication ay conditional statement, ay true at ang kanyang converse or kabaliktaran niya ay true. Okay, let us analyze this one. If 2 is even, then 3 is prime. Is that true?
Yes po.
Okay,
True
right.
po.
Diba true siya? Ang converse ng if 2 is even, then 3 is prime is, if 3 is prime, then 2 is even. That's the converse, right?
Yes po.
Okay. Now, determine the truth value of the converse. If 3 is prime, then 2 is even. Is that true?
Yes, bro.
Yes, right. So true. So if the conditional statement or the implication is true and its converse is true, therefore yung biconditional daw, yung mismong statement lang yun ay considered as good definition. Okay. Otherwise, it is not a good definition. This is the truth table of biconditional. Tignan niyo ang pagkakaiba niya sa implication. Sa biconditional, if the hypothesis is true or the P na statement is true, and the conclusion is true, therefore yung P, if and only if Q mo ay true. Kapag naman true yung P, false yung Q, then false naman yung P if and only if Q. Yung F, false ang P, true ang Q, false naman ang if and only if Q. Then kapag parehong false ang P tsaka Q, then true naman ang iyong biconditional. Okay, what is the difference between the truth value ng implications at ng by conditional or by implication? Ano yung nakita niyong pinagkaiba nila? Anybody? Ram.
Ano po ma'am, yung ano po, pag yung hypothesis po ma'am tama, tas po yung conclusion po is false, ang magiging sagot po dun po false. Pag parehas po true, tas pag parehas po false, ang sagot po dun true. Pag ano naman po, pag yung hypothesis po false, and then yung conclusion po is true, true pa rin po yung sagot.
Okay, correct. No, sa implication, basta true or false, true tsaka false, automatic yun ay false na. Lahat na yun ay true. All the rest ay true. Pero dito sa biconditional, dapat ay pareho yung kanilang truth value ng premise at ng conclusion, yung P tsaka Q mo. So kung parehong true, parehong false, pareho silang true. Otherwise, parehong false. Okay, practice tayo mamaya pagsasama-samahin natin yan. Example, the statement P, you can take the flight. That is the statement. Dito sa Q, you buy a ticket. Okay, form a biconditional statement out of this example. Pwede natin siyang sabihin as P if and only if Q is a statement that you can take the flight if and only if you buy a ticket. So that is an example. How about Q? This is a given. Baliktarin natin ha. Let P be the sun is shining. Let Q be that it is raining. And let R be the proposition that the ground is wet. Ibibigay ko ngayon yung sentence, sasabihin nyo, itatype nyo sa chat box yung mga logical operator na ginamit o yung mga logical connectives. Okay, so this is a given sentence. From that given P, Q, and R, if it is raining, then the sun is not shining. What is the answer? I-type nyo yung logical connective niya dyan sa chat box. Paano nyo siya isusulat sa symbol? If it is raining, combination na to ng lahat from conjunction, disjunction, hanggang biconditional. If it is raining, then the sun is not shining. Let me see your answer. P minus ba yan, Gian? Type nyo guys, type ninyo para makita ko kung tama yung pagkakaano. Ano yan, Gian? P minus Q? Or P implies Q? No. Another? Dalawa pa lang nagsasagot? Okay, pag-isipan ninyo. No, not no, Syra. Okay, that is correct. Tama si Asher. Sabi ni Asher ay Q. Implication yan, no? Kasi meron kang if. Pero ginawa ni Asher ay not P. Tignan natin, no? Di ba yung statement na P ay the sun is shining? Yung Q ay it is raining. Yung R ay the ground is wet. So, ang given na sentence ay, if it is raining, referring to Q. May if ka, may then ka, ibig sabihin implication yon. So, you have Q, right? Then, the sun is not shining. Yung the sun is shining is P. Since meron kang word na not, ibig sabihin negation yon. So, ang inyong operator ay implication or yung implies arrow. So, that is the answer. If Q, then not P ang sagot. If Q, then not P. Question. Taas ang kamay kung nagets yon. Okay, thank you. Next, number 2. Same given. Basahin natin. Ma'am. Okay, Asher, thank you. Same given. Let P be the proposition that the sun is shining, it is raining, the ground is wet. Okay, it is raining and the ground is wet. Write in symbols. It is raining and the ground is wet. I-type. Okay, tignan natin. Sabi ni Billy ay Q and R. Okay. Q minus R. Isa pa lang ang nakakatama ng dalawa. Okay, dalawa na. Dalawa na ang nakakuha ng tamang sagot. So, tama si Billy at tama si Jesus, no? Ang end, take note, ang given na connective ay end. Diba? Hindi ka pwedeng gumamit ng arrow dyan kasi wala namang if eh. Right? Hindi siya condition. Hindi siya nakasulat in the form of conditional statement. It is raining and the ground is wet. Para kang nagsasalaysay lang. Tama? Tapos, ang connective na ginamit ay end. Di ba nag-recall tayo kanina na kapag conjunction, ang connective na ginagamit ay end. Ano ba yung symbol ng end? Yung parang hat. Di ba? Parang triangle na walang base. Parang inverted na V. Kaya ang sagot ay Q and R. The operator is the conjunction end. Next, given. Number 3. Same given. Here's the sentence. The sun is shining or it is raining. The sun is shining or it is raining. Type your answer. Okay, Billy. Sabi ni Billy ay P or Q. How about the other? P or Q? Sabi ni Billy ay P or R. P or Q. So, nahati ang sagot. Ano? Bakit P? Kasi yun yung statement ng P. The sun is shining. So, tama yung P. Bakit Q, hindi R? Kasi yung statement na it is raining is the proposition Q. Kaya dapat P or Q. Okay. Very good. Ang daming nakakuha ng tamang sagot. Next. Same given. Here's the sentence. The ground is wet if and only if it is raining and the sun is not shining. The ground is wet if and only if it is raining and the sun is not shining. Type your answer. Okay, hintayin natin yung sagot ng iba. How about the others? Okay, isip-isip. May if and only if, so by conditional. May end, so may conjunction. May not, so negation. Tatlo yan na logical operator na pinagsama-sama. Wait, I'll wait for your answers. Sabi ng iba ay R, implication, Q, then not B. Okay. Ganun ang sagot ni Billy. How about the others? Okay. So, si Mike tsaka si Billy ay merong same na sagot. Sabi ni Owen ay R, if and only if not P. Tignan natin ha. Analyze natin. Okay. The ground is wet. Anong proposition yon? Q. Ay R, sorry. The ground is wet referring to the proposition R. Tama? If and only if. So, ibig sabihin, dalawang arrow. So, R, yung dalawang arrow. Then, if it is raining, referring to Q, tama? And the sun is not shining. The sun is shining is the P. So, pag sinabi natin the sun is not shining, ibig sabihin not P. So, ang sagot ay ganito. Yung R, the operation dun sa if and only if, tapos Q and not P. So, combination niya ng biconditional, ng conjunction na and, at ng negation na not P. Okay, so dyan nagtatapos ang ating logical operator. Pero may kasunod pa yan. Logic and bit operators. So dito, this is one of the applications sa computer programming. So ito ay dagdag lang na discussion. Hindi talaga to part ng logic, pero pinamention lang since this is one of the applications nito. So sa computer programming, walang true or false, right? Kasi ang ginagamit sa computer science, hindi naman yung, di ba dito sa logic, sabi natin, if the statement is true, we use the capital letter T. We use the capital letter F if the statement is false. Dito, same concept. Kung kailan nagiging totoo ang disjunction na or, kung kailan nagiging totoo sa conjunction, ma'am, kasama sa exam. Opo, by the way, your quiz number 1 ay sa Saturday. Quiz number 1 sa Sabado. Pero mamaya, meron kayong short na sitwork. 6 items lang, magko-construct. Yes, Howell? Napindot na?
Napindot po, sorry.
So, ito, same concept lang siya. Ang pinagkaiba lang nila, yung true, papalitan natin ng 1. So here, a bit is a symbol with 2 possible values, and that is 0 and 1. So, yung 1, ang nire-represent niya ay true. Iisa-isip, ano? Yung 1, ang nire-represent niya ay true. Yung 0, ang nire-represent niya ay false. So, ganun lang po. So, mamaya, gagamit tayo ng same na operator na conjunction na and, na disjunction na or, na exclusive or. Yung tatlong yon, gagamitin natin yung operation lang yon. Pero same lang yung concept niya, iba lang yung symbols na ginamit. Basta 1 stands for true, 0 stands for false. So, using the logical operator. So, let us start with this. A bit string is a sequence of 0 or more bits. The length of this string is the number of bits in the string. So, say for example, let us find the bitwise or, and XOR. Ano ibig sabihin ng XOR? It's the exclusive or. Diba sa logic, EXOR, short for exclusive or. Dito, pwedeng gumamit ng X. Yung XOR, that is short for exclusive or. Yung and for conjunction, then yung or for disjunction. Bago natin sagutin yan, practice muna tayo ha. Ulit. Yung 1, ang equivalent niya ay true. Yung 0, ang equivalent niya ay false. Okay. Practice muna. 1 or 0. What's the answer? Disjunction ang operation. 1 or 0. What is the answer? 0 is wrong. The answer is 1. Diba kapag disjunction by definition, at least one of the statement is true, then the disjunction of P or Q is also true. Magiging false lang siya kung pareho silang false. Yun sa disjunction. Okay. Baliktarin ko. 1 and 0. And this time and kanina or. 1 and 0. Okay, correct. It's 0. Sa conjunction, magiging true lang sila kung pareho silang true. I repeat, no? 1 is for true, 0 is for false. So 1 and 0 means 0 or false. Another. 1 exclusively or 1. True or false? 0, correct. Asher is correct. 0, 0. So, exclusively or, magiging true lang siya kung exactly one of them is true. Otherwise, false. Okay. Gagawin ko ng dalawa ha. Pag ginawa ko yung dalawa, ang tawag na dyan ay bit string. Kasi series of numbers na. 1, 1, or 1, 1. Repeat. 1, 1, or 1, 1. What's the answer? True or false? Okay. 1, 0, 0. Okay. Ayan. Pag dalawa na ang given, ibig sabihin ang sagot nyo rin ay dalawa. Exit ko ang ating PowerPoint. Wait, exit ko para kita ninyo. Ang given ko kanina ay 1, 1. Ang operation ay OR, tama? Tapos, ang ating yung isang given ay 1, 1. Sa bit string, ang pag-solve po ay pa-vertical, patayo. Pagtatapat-tapat niyo yan. So, ibig sabihin, eto muna, 1 or 1. What's the answer? Hindi ko kayo nakikita kasi naka-exit ang PowerPoint ko. Just unmute your microphone.
Ma'am, true po.
Okay, 1 or 1 means 2 or true means 1. Gets po?
Ano po, ma'am?
1, dito sa bit string, ang pag-solve po ay pa-vertical. Make sure na sila ay magkakatapat. Ha? Dapat lahat may katapat. So, 1 or 1, ang operation ay OR. Diba? Pag pareho silang OR, at least one of them ay true, ibig sabihin true yun. Diba nag-practice tayo kanina? So, 1 or 1 means 1. Gets?
Yes po.
Okay, next. Yung 1 or 1 means 1 also. So, ang sagot mo dyan ay 1, 1. Okay, another example ha.
Ma'am, bali po dalawa sagot.
Apo, dalawa ang sagot. Kung ang given knock ay string of numbers, dapat ganun din. String of numbers din ang sagot mo. Hindi natin ina-add yung 1 plus 1 na hindi natin ina-add. Pino-compare lang natin sila. Parang true or false. Parang ganoon. Okay, damihan ko na ha. 101, 1011, 001. Tapos say, we have 1100, 110. So for example, so eto ay bit string of numbers. Okay. Ang operation ay OR. Mag-start muna tayo sa OR. What is 1 or 1? Sabi nyo kanina, 1 or 1 means 1. Tama? How about here? Pangalawa na tayo. 0 or 1. What's the answer?
1 po.
1. Correct. Next. Third line. 1 or 0?
1 po.
1. Next. Fourth line. 1 or 0?
1 po.
1 po. Next line. Dito na tayo sa 0 or 1?
1 po.
1. 0 or 1?
1 po.
1. 1 or 0?
1 po.
1 po.
Okay. Palitan
Zero.
natin ang operation. Gawin kong end. This time ay end. Ha? Gawin natin end. 1 and 1. What's the answer?
1 po.
1.
1 po.
0 and 1.
0 po.
0.
0. Correct. 1 and 0.
0 po.
0 po.
0. 1 and 0.
0 po.
0.
Ano susunod? How about the others?
0 po. 0 po.
0, 0.
0.
Tama?
0 po.
Okay.
Yes po.
Palitan ko ng operation. This time gawin kong XOR. XOR means exclusive OR. Kailan nga ulit nagiging true ang XOR? Kung exactly one of them ay
True.
true. Okay. 1 XOR 1.
1.
No.
1.
0
0 po.
Kasi dalawa sila. Dapat isa lang
Oo.
daw. 0 XOR 1.
1.
1. 1 XOR 0.
1.
1.
1.
1.
1 po. 1.
Question?
1.
None.
Yan po, ma'am.
Let's
Natin po. Clear po.
Okay, let's have these examples. Last example na. Last na to sa slide na to. So let's say we have this string of numbers na 0, 1, 101, 10110. Tapos yung kabila naman ay 11001, 1101. Hindi natin inaada, kino-compare natin. So dito muna tayo sa OR na operator. So go from left from left ang babasahin ko. 0 or 1, that is 1. 1 or 1, that is 1. 1 or 0, 1. 0 or 0, 0. 1 or 0, 1, 1 or 1 is 1, 0 or 1 is 1, 1 or 1 is 1, 1 or 0 is 0, and 0 or 1 is also 1. Same with the operator na and tsaka XOR. So in truth table, same lang to ng truth table sa logic na true or false. Pinagkaiba lang, I repeat, this time, yung 0 ay nagre-represent ng true, ay ng false rather, at yung 1 ay nagre-represent ng true. So 0 is for false and 1 is for true. So that ends our topic then sa fundamentals of logic. Okay, go to your Brightspace account. Please log into your Brightspace account. Meron kayo diyang makikita na Sitwork number 2. Ang title ay Fundamentals of Logic. Meron namang number. Midterm Sitwork number 2, Fundamentals of Logic. Yan ay 6 na tanong. Isusulat nyo lang yung sentence. Tapos sasabihin nyo, hindi nyo na kailangan sabihin kung siya ay true or false. Basta isulat nyo lang po yung sentence. Magko-construct lang kayo ng sentence given the propositions. Okay? Yes, Mike?
Ma'am, pwede pa ilagay sa Word?
Apo, pwede pong ilagay.
Okay po, thank you po.
Okay. So, start answering the Sitwork. Tapos may i-announce lang ako, do not forget, remind ko lang po na meron tayong problem set number 1 na naka-upload siya last week. So, upon checking, meron palang isang nagpasa. Isang problem lang naman yun na 3 ang question. Siguro hindi kayo aabutin doon ng 5 minuto tapos yun. Basta isang problem lang yun. Sasabihin nyo lang kung ano yung nare-represent niya. And quiz number 1 sa Sabado. Ang coverage ng quiz number 1 ay logic and functions. Yes, Luis?
Ma'am, ano po ang deadline ng Sitwork na ngayon po?
Ngayon, anak.
Ngayon na rin po. Sige po, ma'am.
Sorry, Luis.